Hottie.
What's up?
It is absolutely wonderful to see you in real life.
So good to see you. Look at you. Good morning. Got your unicorn cup? Is that a Burning Man essential?
No. A friend of mine came over to my house, I don't know, almost like 8 years ago, and they broke my favorite coffee cup.
Oh, no.
And they felt really bad, and then I got this in the mail, like about a month later, being like, I'm so sorry about your cup. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my
gosh. I am a one of one. So this is my go-to when I need to feel good about myself, is my little unicorn
I love
cup.
it. I have a Bills Mafia. I've changed teams.
I mean, listen, if you're going to change teams, it's a good time to be changing teams. Josh Allen is doing all the right things.
He's such a cutie. What a cutie he is.
He married well. I've never met him, but he just seems to be switched on and is a good dude.
For sure.
I watched the Hard Knocks Bills this season. I was like, look, you're not my team, but I will be rooting for y'all.
Yeah.
When you're not playing the Chargers.
Well, Sal, thank you so much for doing this. It's so nice of you. My little
podcast
that could.
I remember when you used to bring me my scripts to my dressing room. You'd be like...
So scared.
So scared. I'd be like, hi, thank you so much. Also be stressed out with whatever else is going on in the show. The show being the Daily 10, obviously.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. And so just for me to be able to watch your growth from afar, via the socials, etc., and just to see how hard you've kicked ass, whether it be Ellen or starting a family, and then seeing what you've endured and overcome in the last few years. I mean, when I was super late to the party, but I sent you a note. I was just like, wait, what?
I know.
What happened to you?
Well, you weren't late to the party, but I didn't post about it till 5 years later.
Wow. Well, I'm thrilled that you're still here.
Thank you. Same.
And you were always you were always a wonderful person to work with in that psychotic building.
So wild.
That we were. That we worked in.
I mean, we were at E in its heyday. It was the time. I remember B.O.B. doing a performance in the courtyard. I was just thinking about that. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So fun.
I completely remember that. People are like, what's your greatest success? I'm like, I convinced E to let me do a party every Saturday night in Vegas at the Hard Rock for 2 years. And co-brand it with E and the Daily 10, and then convince them to let us do the show from Vegas for a week.
I mean, it feels like maybe Bob Lifton did not think that was a hard sell. He probably was down.
The regret that he lived in that week when people were showing up, having not slept, and scented all night. Oh. I mean, it's just a bad idea.
Oh my God.
Unless you're going to have like sober monitors for everyone. And we were young, like we were wild, right?
Yes.
I'm very, very lucky to have survived that era.
Well, that era for me was like the very beginning of that was my entrance into Hollywood. And you were I know that I was scared giving you your scripts, but you were like the kindest, the brightest light in the room. You were the most well-liked. Everybody was obsessed with your energy. Like all of us, children, most people who host the show don't give a shit about the production assistants. And you knew all of our names. You were so sweet to us. I mean, I'm not saying that Debbie and Kat did not, because they were lovely too. But me and Preston and Ryan and Brigitte, we all love you so much.
I loved y'all. First of all, that's very kind of you to say.
It's so true.
And
just facts.
When I got that show, first of all, there's no world in which I ever would have thought that I was going to be a daily entertainment news show, gossip show host. I can, my world is skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing, action sports, X Games, etc. So when I first got that job, I was actually really bummed.
Oh,
no. I was like, wait, what? I got what job?
Is this not on brand?
This is not on brand. And also the idea of doing a daily, my life was very much like go do events,
Yes.
go live my life.
Yes.
So now being in a cubicle, writing all day and going to junkets and it was a real, that show was not glamorous. We worked our asses off.
Yeah.
And my thing was like, I'm going to treat this like a family because I know how hard all of these kids work to make it possible for me to get in front of the camera every day. I also grew up, my father was a musician.
Yes,
and
of course. Hugh. We love him.
Yes. Rest in peace, Papa.
Yes.
And so I grew up watching the way my father treated everyone at a show, at a new venue, whether it was the sound person or the person who was setting up the tables, etc. He viewed every single person involved with the venue and the production as making it possible for him to do what he loved. And so I learned that as a child, and I was able to carry that into this business. I'm very, very lucky that I had that education because this is also a town that will take a young, talented person who doesn't know any better and tell them, look, you're the shit. You don't have to listen to anyone. You're the star. Everyone is here to serve you. And I saw a lot of people like that. I ain't going to name names, but there were people like that in the building. And so I wanted to be the opposite of that because you guys made it possible. You guys really made it possible for me to succeed. And I loved working with everybody. So,
just the best. This is the best entrance into my LA experience is being with you. And that whole family. It was really a family.
That means Preston and Brigitte. I mean, everybody was everybody was character. Yeah.
I know, the best. Do you ever talk to anybody? Like Bob Lifton? Like what's Bob Lifton doing?
I hear from Bob Lifton like once every, 5 or 6 months.
Oh, good.
I'll get a note from him. Ben talks to him a lot. Ben Lyons talks to him a lot.
Ben.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, the first time I ever heard about Burning Man, which is really what I want to talk to you about today, but was from Robbie Laughlin. Remember him?
Yes, absolutely.
So this was 2008. We were doing Who Wore It Better, and he was showing me pictures on his digital camera of him in the desert, and he was telling me he have to bring his own water in, and I was like, why are you doing this? I don't understand. I was so confused. And then, years later, I was so confused, but I had that initial, why would anyone want to do this?
Yeah.
And you must have too. And not to backtrack, but also I remember during that time, Debbie Matenopoulos went on a 10-day silent retreat while we were, do you remember that?
Yes.
And again, my first time, I was like, what is going on? What are these people doing?
Where have I moved to?
Where have I landed? What is happening here? And, meanwhile, now I'm like, ooh, should I go on a 10-day silent retreat? That sounds transformative.
I have a friend. Yes. I have a friend who I was in my camp with at Burning Man who came home for 2 weeks and then went and is in the middle of a 10-day silent retreat right now. And I was like, you're crazy.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, no, it's not the first time I've done it this way. So yeah.
People are just looking for transformation. They are just looking inward and they're doing their thing.
Yeah. I think I said this in my post on Instagram, which by the way, after I posted that about Burning Man, I have been I've been invited to no less than 4 different podcasts where people are like, wait, you? Oh, we got to talk about this.
Everyone's like, wait, Sal's doing it? I'm sorry. Now I'm like, are people call you Sal anymore? It's Selema.
No, everybody calls me Selema.
I'm like, Selema. Okay.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'm patient with people because they've obviously known me as Sal knew me as Sal for a long time.
Yes.
But it just never felt good to me. It never felt like my name.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to go with my full name, which was my grandfather's name, Selema, I literally felt like I got taller. It was like, like I felt like I got into my body. So, but I'm patient because people have known me.
Yes.
But I appreciate it, Laura.
No, yes, of course.
But yeah, there's no world in which I ever thought that I was going to Burning Man. I said no a lot. People have asked me for years.
I'm sure.
And I'm like, desert, dust, mud, cosplaying, costuming, well, why? And I really think that it was, if I'm being honest, the temperature of the world this year, which has been, shit has been getting bad for a while. But this year especially, I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do a bunch of me this year. Like a bunch of adventurous shit. And so the first was in the middle of the summer, I decided I was going to South Africa for a month to see my family. And then I wasn't going to worry about whether or not I was going to get a job or anything, because you know this business. I'm like, I'm just going.
Yeah.
And if some shit pops up and I miss it, I miss it. And that was an incredible gift. Just to be out of the country for a minute and get a little like, it doesn't have to be crazy drinking from the fire hose every day, all day. And just to spend time with my family. I hadn't been home since my father died in 2018. And that was really powerful. And right before I left to go to South Africa, I was in jiu-jitsu. And at the end of class, this girl that I take jiu-jitsu with, it was like, hey, so I have a camp at Burning Man. And I was like, oh no, here we go.
I love it so much.
And I was like, and I really, really, really have grown close to this person. And I was like, here we go. And she goes, and I really think that you would enjoy Burning Man in my camp. And she goes, actually, you're coming. I go, excuse me? She's like, yeah, you're coming. And, you're sitting there all sweaty from after rolling around trying not to die for an hour in jiu-jitsu. And I was like, okay. Just said yes. And once I said yes, she was like, okay, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to guide you through this, help you prepare. And I remember all this fear coming up instantly in my body, but also like little kid excitement, like, okay, you've been talking all this shit, Selema, about this thing. Now we're going to see. And there's no world in which I ever could have imagined that it would have been so transformative. So radically recalibrating. And here I am. It'll be a month since we got back this weekend. And Laura, I can tell you, I'm still sitting in the lessons of it. And it's really, I don't know, there's things that I've been trying to work through in my life for a long time, therapy and plant medicine, and those things have worked. But I went to Burning Man, and for some reason I was able to break through, have some massive epiphanies, and release and let go. Really, really leave some shit that didn't serve me behind. And as much as I set really good intentions for what the experience was going to be, I could have never thought that that's what that it was going to be that powerful. It's so hard to get there and to do and just to prepare for.
Logistically, you have to bring everything in. You have to come up with something that you're gifting to people, because there's these 10 principles. Did you know about the 10 principles before you went?
Loosely, yes.
Okay. I just
I
looked
didn't
them
study.
up.
I didn't study for the test,
Okay.
but I loosely knew. I knew most of the principles. Yes,
Okay, so I
but
had to look
for
them
the
up.
audience,
Yeah. Radical inclusion,
yep.
gifting, radical self-reliance, decommodification, radical self-expression, communal effort, civic responsibility, leave no trace, participation, and immediacy.
Boom.
I mean, just those words alone, I'm like, oh, first of all, I had to like Google decommodification. It's like,
Okay.
I need a dictionary. What exactly
right.
does this mean?
I wouldn't know that one off the bat.
Okay,
myself.
thank you. That's nice of you to say. When you think about plant medicine journey, because I've done ayahuasca. Have you also
Same.
done ayahuasca? Okay.
Yeah. You think we wake up with a unicorn cup and we haven't done ayahuasca?
Fair. Fair. I need one. I need one. You go into ayahuasca and you're like, okay, I'm going to have, like, this is going to be a transformative spiritual experience because I'm taking something and it's obviously less social than what Burning Man is. It's more internal, really. But this, can I ask, are you doing a bunch of drugs while you're there too? Is that an
Sure,
okay
you
thing
can
to
ask.
ask? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are you? Is that part of it? Or is it like, how are you? I need all the information.
First of all, the getting your tent together, getting your food together,
Shopping for some fur? Faux fur?
I didn't do any fur, but I think that radical self-expression, as you get closer to it, you start to think of like, all right, how would I like to show up? You start rummaging through your closet, being like, oh, that could work. That could be cool. I don't wear this in the streets anymore because I'd get laughed at home, but at Burning Man, I think this could work. And you're putting together and you're making kits. And then you're going shopping and you're like, oh, that Technicolor dream coat right there. That'll work. And you start creating your own self-expression. I went with, like, I have all this incredible stuff that I've gotten in my travels around the continent in Africa. And not just South Africa where I'm from, but across the continent. And I wear these suits and things and long dresses sometimes at home, and people are like, okay. But there, it was just like, like the ancestors were clapping from the beyond, being like, there he is, representing us.
I love it.
You know?
Yes.
And it was really wonderful to just not have to sit, like within those principles. I was saying to a friend the other day, no shame, no guilt, personally, right? You're not walking around with shame and guilt, and no judgment is coming at you from anyone else. So you're not worried about people crossing to the other side of the road because you look weird, because you don't look weird. You look like you. You look like you expressing yourself how you want to in its entirety on that day, and you're not being judged for it. No one can tell how much.
Yeah.
It feels super safe. No one can tell how much money you have or don't have, what your socioeconomic background is, what your story. No one cares to try to judge your story based on how you're showing up in that moment. And that ends up being like a really weird weight off of you that you didn't know that you're carrying around all day.
Oh, for sure.
You don't realize how much like your subconscious is posturing for others, on the lookout for acceptance, when you're in line at the coffee shop, or when you walk into the restaurant to get your table, or you go to the bank, all these, or at work, all these things that you're doing subconsciously, hoping for acceptance. And you get to this place where like people are like, Anne, like someone's walking down the street in boots, dead ass naked. Dead ass naked. And they're just like, doo, 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 doo. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
And so that becomes something, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're you're not doing. You realize that how much your body is doing that you're not aware of, and so now that gives you the space to just like be curious, be inquisitive. You're walking down, a road, and someone's like, "Hey, have you eaten today?" And you're like, And before you can even like try to negotiate your way out of it, they're like, "Come inside," and they come in, and next thing you know, they've been smoking whatever meats in a smoker for the last 24 hours, and they're sitting you down for this incredible barbecue. And do you have a cup? Because you always carry a cup. And they pour you a drink, and they sit down, and they just want to talk. And all people ask from you for what it is that they have to give is your joy.
Wow.
All anyone is interested in from what it is that they have to share with you is your joy reflected back at them. And so now you're sitting in that as the basic barometer, day in, day out. And around every corner you find some incredible, elaborate display that someone has put in for what they're offering. Like I was walking home one night, I'd gotten lost because it's easy to get lost on the playa. And I finally like figured out where I was, and I look, and there's this, someone had built like this tea yurt. And I walk in, they're like, "Oh, please have a seat." You walk into anyone's place, like, sit down, join us. And they're tea pouring, like wonderful ceremonial tea pouring on the inside in this circle, and they have all these wonderful teas, and you sit, and it's steeping, and you pick your teas, and you just sit and you talk with folks. And then on the outside of this yurt was just plush couches and bean bags and beds where people were just like chilling, hanging, talking, cuddle puddling, whatever. And maybe they'd get up and have some tea and go back. And I was like, "What's going on here?" They're like, "Oh, well, this is a place where we figure like there's a lot going on, and we want people to be able to, if they're having either a great experience and they want to sit and reflect with others in a more quiet space, or if maybe they're having a bad time, maybe they're having a bad trip or something, they can come here, decompress, get right, find their center and equilibrium, and then we send them back out in the world. And then during the day, so they're running this tea 24 hours. It's a 24-hour tea ceremony.
Tea party, sure.
Tea party. It was amazing. And then
So
out
good.
in front, she's like, "Yeah," and then we conduct talks about substances and plant medicine and how they interact and awareness for people. And, our schedule's out in the front. And you're just like, "Thank you. Oh, we're so happy that you came in. Come back." My first night there, I went for a walk. First of all, getting in is insane. Like,
Hours
just
and hours and hours.
hours
And
and
like
hours.
in
and hours.
line. And you're like, are you in like you're in a camper?
Mm-mm.
No. You didn't
I
in a
rented a Toyota Tacoma on Turo. And my friend was like, "Did you tell them that you're taking the truck to Burning Man?" I was like, "He didn't ask me any questions, and I didn't tell him any lies."
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I loaded it up. I got I had a rack for my bike for the tow hitch, and I got my Yeti coolers. I went to Costco and got all the things. I had my air mattress, and I got this incredible tent called a shift pod that you just put up in it's basically permanent refugee camps where people are going to be for like 6 months or longer. They're like these homes.
Amazing.
Got one of those and an air conditioner.
Wow.
Because with a solar generator, because I'm an adult.
Yeah, the camping part is really what would scare me, but yours sounds real nice. It's a 5-star
I know me.
tent. Yes.
So if we're doing this, Let's do this as a whole ass
Let's
adult
go.
and try to be as comfortable as we can. I brought like some rugs and
Nice.
lights and built some shelving. And I really my setup was like people would come in and be like, "Oh my god, are you going to rent this out?" Like it was.
So do you caravan with the people in your camp? Or
No,
do you
I
meet them there?
I
You
went
go
by
alone?
myself. I met them there, and the weather getting in was insane. The
Was it-
worst weather that they'd had ever for the first 4 days.
Oh my god.
First, a death windstorm, then 2 days of incredible rains. As I was driving there, you're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, I'm in East Coast now, yeah.
So
Right.
here in LA, for the last 8 weeks, we've had insane humidity. It's been like Hawaii out here, and hot as can be with humidity, which is not LA's way.
Yeah, right.
Global warming, different podcast,
Yep. For sure.
different episode.
Yes.
Climate change, but so I'm driving there, and I have to drive through Mammoth to get to Reno, and once I hit Mammoth, it was raining, lightning, wind.
Oh my
The
god.
whole way to Reno. Then I drive from Reno to go to Black Rock City, where it is in the desert. It's 3 hours, and another storm comes, and we're outside of the entrance to where you sort of there's 80,000 people that are going to build this city, right? And so vetting everyone and getting them in takes time. But they shut down the entrance, and so now I'm sleeping in my car in this line of 1,000 cars. I don't know. It was 6:30 when they shut the road down, so I was in my car from 6:30 at night till I think 9 a.m. is when we started to move.
Wow.
But in that time, which was crazy, and I don't have any cell service for where we are.
Oh my gosh.
Your Burning Man experience kind of begins because people are coming into your car and checking on you, and they're offering you food or drink or snacks, and people are playing music. You just watch people instantly sort of be like, all right, well, we're here. Let's just figure out how to make the best of it.
Yes.
And it was there was a gift in kind of sitting in the discomfort to get there, and then finding community with all these other people who are sitting in discomfort, and no one well, I thought it was going to be this way or whatever, no one cursing each other out or anything, just sort of everyone sort of bought into the 10 principles, so to speak, and it starts now before we even get in there.
Right.
And even that next day when it was finally, it dried and it got hot enough and that we're driving in on the desert, you're 6 lanes of people, 7 lanes of cars and RVs and trucks of every shape and size, and you move a little bit and you stop, and you move a little bit and you stop. Sometimes you stop for a half hour, and again, people are playing music and dancing and sharing with each other, and you're when are we going to get there? And nine hours later, you're finally there at the front row, and the people who are welcoming you, who are the officials, they're also burners, and they check your ticket, etc. And then they're is this your first time? And you tell them it's your first time. They're first time. They open your car door, get you out, make you roll around in the dirt, in the dust.
Stop!
Give you a mallet to go and bang this gong, and as you're banging this gong, all the cars are honking their horn because they know that you're a newbie, you're a virgin burner.
Gosh.
And then this woman looks at me, puts her hand on my chest, and she says, "Welcome home."
I just got chills.
And Laura, when she said that shit, it the ground electrified up through my whole spirit, and I kid you not, I was I am home.
We're home!
I was like, oh, yeah, thank you. And
Wow.
then, they teach you how to navigate, and, we ask you where your camp is. And the whole thing is set up like a clock. So it's letters and numbers. The Burning Man, like the man is sort of the center of the clock, and that's how you're able to like be in this pop-up city. And you're not allowed to drive around the camp. I had to drive on pass, so I could go and park at my camp, and you can't go more than 5 miles an hour. Because if you go more than 5 miles an hour, the feds can stop you, and you don't want the feds to stop you. Because if the feds stop you, as opposed to the rangers, who are burners, who are there's rangers. They're like Burning Man people. They're like Guardians of the Galaxy, basically. They're like, we're here to look out for you and make sure that you don't get in federal trouble. But they're also burners. But the feds are there, and there's undercovers. And if you drive more than 5 miles an hour and they're feeling spicy, they're going to search your vehicle entirely, in which they may find medicines or substances that are banned in the state of Nevada on federal land. So let's just say I went 4 miles an hour.
4 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I got there, and
Yes.
it was amazing. And to answer your question, yes. Did I participate in some substance usage, plant-based usage? Yes, absolutely. And it was wonderful, because it wasn't like you're not out there partying to get fucked up. Like, you're like, okay, what's the dab ratio situation for me to like sit in a little bit of clarity and presence of the entirety of this space? Because you could like go out and dance and find art cars or DJ sets in the middle of the desert at 3 a.m, and you're like, you know what? Let's just play through to the sunrise. And as the sun is rising, you're literally watching Black Coffee in the middle of the desert, like dancing your ass off, happier than ever, with no like, oh, I gotta get home to work, or there's the lack of judgment situation was just, it was radical. Like it was so, how you're able to just sit and be joyful and sit in exchange with others as a result was, as an adult, as a whole ass adult, when you're told like you don't get to do this anymore, you don't get to be a kid, like your whole kid self, exploring and just like prioritizing your joy for 8 or 9 days. It was so amazing and so radical in that way. And because of that, because you're in this atmosphere with all these different circumstances that I described that you just don't get in the default world, you suddenly have the opportunity to like really not just think about your life, but really sit in your life. Like commune with your life and your experiences. And for me, like the intention that I had set for myself was, being able to embrace the entirety of me, including the parts that I don't like, that I maybe have worked too hard to try to get rid of, when it's just like, hey man, these things are not the star of your show, but they also round you out. And yes, you can get better, but the idea that like something's wrong with you because of the faults that you carry, that everyone carries, like, you're good, man. Like, look at the track record and the big picture of this existence of yours, and start loving on yourself like in your entirety. I went there to fall back in love with Selema, like to fall in love with the entirety of Selema. And when I tell you that I achieved that I got the glimpse into what that means for me and how to work at that today, it was like 2 ayahuasca sits and 6 months of therapy in 8 days.
Wow. That is incredible.
It's radical.
It's so beautiful because I feel like also after this like journey that I've been on for the last 5 years, where I feel like the biggest lesson in that was self-love and doing all the shadow work, which is like, it's what you just said, like realizing that all of these parts that seem ugly, you can still love them.
Yeah.
And I think that that's hard to go with all the posturing that does happen here and on socials, and you're a public figure. It's like there's like a lot. The public figure part, I feel like, is just, that's a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level, and I've really, really learned that in the last 2 years in a way that I never had to before. Yeah, I really danced with the dark side of being a public figure, in a way that I thought I never would, and like broke me. Like I was very, very, very broken. It broke me, Laura. Like. And I haven't talked about it at all, for obvious reasons. But that experience, any relationship is difficult to get out of. Love and heartbreak and all those things are difficult. But to suddenly find yourself doing it with the entire planet, and you didn't ask to do it with the entire planet, and what that suddenly thrusts you into, I wouldn't wish it on someone that that I hated. That being said, I've learned more about myself as in the process as a result. It was a big part of why I really think I needed to just be like, go to some place where I just get to be out there and just sit in the entirety of my being. And I didn't know that the no judgment part and the shame and guilt part were going to be a byproduct of going to this place, but sure did I need it. Did I really just need to be Selema Mabena Masekela, who grew up in Staten Island and Harlem and New England and San Diego, and suddenly found his way to LA, and has had a wonderful, unlikely journey, chasing what I love, and it no one really prepares you for the public part, but I think I really, really honestly, Laura, do think that was like the biggest part for me. It was like a healing. It was a big final healing from and a reminder that like the only person that matters in this situation is you. Loving on you and who you choose to love, and anyone else's perception of you is theirs and has nothing to do with you. And to them, I kick rocks with open-toed shoes.
For sure.
As hard as you can.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I thought about you so much during that time, and I like wanted to reach out, and there's nothing I just didn't know we didn't know what to say. I feel like Preston and I were talking about it, and we were just like, is he okay? I hope he's okay.
Oh, I was not okay.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
But you know what? I I have so much love in my life,
Yeah.
and my family and my dear friends were there for me,
Yeah.
and you know, and help me through it. And the fair weather friends, or the ones who are drawn to the shinier ends of things, those people also reveal themselves, and we wish them well.
We do
So
wish
it
them
was
well. Yes.
it was a it was a clearinghouse for me on who actually are my people.
Yes.
You know, who are my people. And social media are not they're not your people. It's nice to have people that that are fans of what you do, but it was a reminder that like they might be fans of what you do, but they're not in a relationship with your who, with your who.
Yes.
And what you do is all made up. Especially in this business, it's all made up. But it's fueled by your who, you know, by an aspect of your who. But that's not the definition of who you are. Going to Burning Man was like the actual like in the movie it would be like the sealing of the steel door, and the casting of this thing to the bottom of the deepest depths of the sea. And I come out of it just like big wings, and just immensely grateful. Like there's a temple that they have there, that they erect, that they burn, and you can go and sit. And when you get in there, there's right when you get there, like all around the outside of it, you see posters and paper, and things that people have taped up to the walls and written in the wood, of things that they're grieving, people that they're letting go of. There's pictures of loved ones, and people are very, very open about what they're trying to burn and let go of, or grieve. And you're just walking around the perimeter. You're reading these stories, and you're seeing these people that people are grieving. I had written a bunch of stuff. I woke up one morning and I just started journaling aggressively, and I was like, okay, I think today's the day I go to the temple. So I get on my bike and I head out there, and mind you, like there's so much of it is just like a giant playground, but as you're approaching the temple, the whole mood and the energy shifts, and you slow down and you can feel it. So like this is a different energy.
Wow.
And I've been to many spiritual places before, places that feel innately spiritual, nature driven, and I've stood in religious structures. I never felt anything like standing and being in that space, in that temple. And finally I took a deep breath and I walked inside, and in the center there's a pile of things that people have cast into the center that they're letting go of when they do the burn. They're going to burn. And then there's sort of risers that rise up 3 levels that you can go and find a place to sit, and people are sitting essentially in this circle around the center, and it's quiet. People are just sitting, looking around, breathing. Someone might decide to play a song on a guitar, or someone might start chanting, or leading a meditation, but never more than one person. Like people just sort of find the rhythm and they might speak up, but other than that, it's silent. And people are really going through it in there. And you could hear people, like sometimes you'll just be sitting and you just hear someone just like let out a piercing wail as they're just like letting go, and you can hear people sobbing, and I'm just sitting there, you know, and at a certain point I close my eyes and I put my head down and I take a deep breath. And once I did that, when I tell you that the shit that just started rising up out of me, like out of the depths and corners of where I had no idea shit has been stuffed in my body and in my spirit. And I just started weeping.
Oh my God.
Like weeping uncontrollably, Laura. Like it's just rising up out of me to the point where at a certain point, like I don't have control. Like I'm weeping in a way that like next thing you know, I just feel hands on me, on my shoulder, on my back, on my chest. Someone's rubbing my back. And I open my eyes and I look, and there's just people all around me taking care of me.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
And this woman looks at me and she says, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she hugs me from like the side and around, and I just like collapse into more tears. And I wept for like, I don't know, an hour.
Wow. It's like,
And
it's radical compassion too. I mean,
radical, yeah, that's the other part. It's just radical compassion.
wow.
And care. And then I went to the center down at the bottom and I took out my papers and I cast them in the center, and I brought my grandmother's scarf that I had brought with me and that I'd been wearing and put that in the center, you know, said my piece and walked outside, and I just sat. There's like a retaining wall that they built outside, and I just sat and just sort of came back into my body, sitting in the shade. And that was single-handedly, and I had an incredible time out there. But that was the day.
Wow.
That was the day, that was the moment that made all of it, the struggle, the suck, the joy, all of it, just like, I had to do all of that, and I danced myself clean, so to speak. Going to see LCD Sound System
I love
tonight.
LCD. I know. I was like, pour some out for LCD.
I'm going tonight.
Oh my God, it's so fun.
Just got tickets.
Oh, it's so fun. Oh my God, I saw them at the bowl like a million years ago. So fun.
Yeah, it's great timing. And yeah, all of that prepared me to be able to sit in that moment, in that temple, and just like, just be okay with me. But more than okay, like, I'm still sitting in the active radical recalibration, because obviously now you're doing the work in the real world. But yeah, it was just a mega gift. I drove home like the entire 21 hours that it took me to get out of there and get home. I just drove home just like, wait, what just happened? I didn't have one dream for 2 weeks, Laura, that wasn't me entirely out, lucid, in the playa.
Oh my gosh. While
I would wake up every day. Oh, I'm home.
Oh my gosh.
2 weeks.
Wow. In the playa, and then now, when you are there and you're sitting with yourself, are you talking to a higher power? Are you believing in a higher power? Are you just talking to yourself? Is yourself the higher power?
You know, it's funny. I grew up religious, like strict household religious. Used to knock on doors as a Jehovah's Witness
Wow.
for a long time until my early 20s and when I left the church. But I was like a radical upbringing. And the getting out of that and the sort of reclaiming your and building your own conscience, because your conscience has been programmed for you as to how you're supposed to think, and living in a very guilt-driven idea and fear-driven idea of what your relationship with God is, really like just put me away from religion. To this day, like I don't fuck with religion. But religion to me is not it has nothing to do with our spirituality and our connection to each other as human beings. My first journey in plant medicine, my idea or my vision of God was woman. Was like really like an island, essentially, like not even an island, but like the entire fucking like heavens being like all of like those women in Wonder Woman, like the island.
Yes.
And it's just this goddess as the leader, and then all of these just fucking powerful, badass warrior women of every shade, hue, shape, and size. And me just like, like, oh my God.
Obsessed with this visual.
And then being like, yeah, motherfucker, it's us.
Totally.
And I had to very much commune with feminine power and the feminine deity. I had to go through all these like visuals of the amount of oppression that women have experienced for literally thousands of years. Like I saw visions of like the last 1,000 years of what women have gone through in societies, and still chosen to show up and give life and nurture and steward despite being stepped on and stepped on and stepped on and told that they're less than. And I experienced this for thousands of years of what that is. And it was almost like I was being shaken. So to answer your question, I think my idea of God is making peace with and allowing the feminine energy that balances out my masculinity to rise, like to find the balance within that. That's where the growth, I think, lies for me, and that's like the God energy I'm trying to build relationship with, so that I can stand stronger and taller and more definitively as a man.
Oof. I love that.
Like that's what I'm learning in my middle age, is the powerful definition of being a man. Is being able to sit in relationship with and acknowledge and honor and find strength in your feminine energy and build relationship with it, so that you can in turn see and elevate and honor the immense power of the feminine energy that divines our planet. And so yeah, that's kind of That's to answer your question. That's kind of like where my, I don't know, my meditation, my communication with God in that moment is, or just in general.
I love that, feeling that connection. I also feel like plant medicine, when you do plant medicine, it's very feminine.
Yeah.
At least ayahuasca is. Maybe there's others that are less so, but it's
Maybe,
like Mama
but
Aya. It's like she's
the
in
grandmother
charge.
was like, the grandmother for me was like, you, sir, are going to sit back and learn.
Yes.
And I don't know that it shows up like that for everyone, but that's how it showed up for me. That's what I needed. And that's what I'm grateful for. You know?
Yes.
That's what I'm grateful for. And I really felt like when I was out there, I felt that her being like, yeah.
Remember me? Yes.
Yeah. This is what we talked about a few years ago. This is where you're supposed to be.
I want to ask you a question that I'm asking everyone on this podcast, which is like woo-woo, but it's going to happen to all of us. What do you think happens when we die?
It's not woo-woo. That's just legit.
It's legit. We don't know.
I think people think it's woo-woo because they're like, ah! Why are you talking about that?
Yeah, totally. Nobody wants to talk about it. I get it.
I had an experience the last time that I sat with ayahuasca. I saw my father in the cosmos. And he was beautiful and joyful and immense. It was almost like his being was made up of stars. And at a certain point, I felt his presence, his spirit, join my body. And we laughed together. And the feeling of him laughing with me in my body was the most joyful thing I've ever felt in my life. I knew that he was good. And then it was time for him to leave. And it was so definitive when that energy was no longer in me, in that way, that like the back end of it was just like the most joyful weeping like I've ever felt, and also like just such a radical confirmation of our love. Is that what it is afterwards? I don't know. But it felt, nothing has ever felt realer. And I know that energy doesn't die. I know that the universe is constantly and infinitely expanding. And if my essence gets to be a part of that in any way, shape, or way, in whatever that next realm may be, so be it. But this idea of heaven and hell and a judgment, all made up.
Yeah.
And if that's how you choose to live your life, cool, but don't put that shit on us, on me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's
so beautiful. I love it. I love plant medicine. You know, ayahuasca stands for the vine of your ancestors, the vine of the soul. And I feel like the last time I did my ceremony too, my loved ones who had passed were very present for me. And
Yeah.
I saw almost everyone in my life who I was close to who died. And I didn't experience something like that, but that is profound.
It was
So wild.
it was
So wild. Oh my gosh.
And I would never tell anyone to do it.
Yeah.
People ask me all the time, like, should I do it? I'm like, if you feel it call to you,
Yeah.
I would encourage you to listen. But I ain't gonna tell you. I don't think it's a cure-all. But if you want to get a glimpse into if you want to potentially get a glimpse into how you can guide your steps while you're here, for me, it's been pretty cool. And I think that it's so deeply apparent to me as we are sitting in this crazy like government intersection with like Christian nationalism, etc., that like a society of people who are individually doing their own thing, with the idea of the strength of the collective and the radical magic of our individuality, like bonding us together, is very, very, very dangerous to people in power. And this is the other thing that I figured like that I came to when I was out there, was just like, oh, there's a reason why this shit happens like once a year in the middle of the desert, because this would upend the world.
Totally.
And listen, it's not a utopia. It's not perfect. There are people who go there. There's dark energy. You can feel it. It's not dominant, but you're like, oh, I got to steer clear from that. Like those people clearly are here for a different reason than I am. But that's life, right? There's darkness and light. But there's a lot more light than there is darkness, and it's pretty radical. And it's also a reminder that while many of us are going through the motions out here in the default world, to just maintain existence behind the uniforms and the check marks that of what our identities are, there's a shit ton more light out here too.
It's our come up.
Yeah. There's a shit ton more light out here too, and I think we're in a time now where we're all being individually challenged as to whether or not we are going to be willing to shine for ourselves and for each other, because we're here for a blip.
You are one of the brightest lights to exist in this blip.
Oh no.
You are.
Thank you,
I love
Laura.
you so much. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with me and with the Woo Report. I love it.
When I got your note, we've been sending each other notes here and there over time.
Yeah.
But when you were like, all right, that's it, it's time, I was like, yes, let's go. This is, what better way to, reunion.
It's so much fun. It's so fun to see your face and hear your voice and just be in your energy again. And it's been so long. And I love seeing you. You're online. I love seeing your life and following along. But like, this is so special. I so appreciate you taking the time to do this.
You haven't aged.
Oh my God, you haven't aged. You are so nice to say that.
You haven't aged. Like, when did you start working there? 2008?
Yes, I was 24.
You were 24. You have not aged.
Thank you.
Laura.
You haven't either. You're the same.
Well,
You're the
maybe
same.
that's a byproduct of choosing to exist in as much love and light as we can.
That and being at 5750 Wilshire Boulevard.
Shit.
At a time.
At a time.
It was so good. It was so good.
Well, this This has been a really a gift for me, Laura. And if you find you and your family find yourselves out here in Los Angeles on a visit, shoot me a flare. I just gotta give you a high five and a hug.
I would love a hug. Let's go. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For way more woo-woo, please follow and subscribe to the Woo Report podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you love to listen. Never miss an episode of the Woo Report by joining the community at thewooreportpodcast.com. Thank you for liking, sharing, rating, and loving on this little slice of magic. I am so, so grateful you are here. Bye.